Hello, everyone, and thank you for taking the time to join us today. And I want to welcome you to our InsuredMine webinar. It's entitled Marketing Automation for Insurance Agencies, How to Scale Without Hiring More Resources. I'm Jonathan Webster, and I'm proud to say that I now head up marketing at InsuredMine. Prior to this, I was working for a couple of marketing agencies at the same time, one full-time, managing about a dozen clients across various industries day to day, and the other is an agency I co-founded that focuses mostly on nonprofits, NGOs. Well, now you know I have a tendency to spread myself thin, maybe a little crazy, but I'm passionate about marketing. And as you can see, co-hosting with me, coming to you live at 90 degrees, is someone my kids might call a legend in the game. Mr. Stanley Dean is founder and principal of Stanley Dean Insurance Financial Services. He has almost 6 decades of experience in financial services, from agent to brokerage manager to insurance and financial services professor. So Stan has a ton of knowledge and expertise that he'll bring to the conversation, but most importantly for this presentation, Stan is an InsuredMine marketing automation expert. He's a wizard. So Stan, welcome, and thank you for taking the time to be here with us today.
Thanks a lot.
All right, well, let's look at what we're going to be talking about here. My goal for these webinars is to be educational, so it won't get too salesy, but I would be remiss, I guess I should say, if I didn't briefly tell you about InsuredMine. So we'll knock most of that out of the way in about 5 minutes up front. Next, we'll dive into an overview of what marketing automation is, followed by why insurance agencies should even care about marketing automation. We'll look at some examples of what you can do with it, and we'll talk to Stan about what we can really expect from these marketing automation methods. At the end, we'll do a little demo to illustrate some of the points we're talking about here, and we'll wrap up with a Q&A session at the end. But even though the Q&A session's at the end, do feel free to submit questions and comments throughout, and I'll make sure we get to you during the Q&A portion of the event at the end. All right, so let's kick it off. While we have a global workforce, our headquarters are just north of Dallas, where there are a ton of startups and enterprise technology businesses, so we're in good company here. InsuredMine was founded in 2018, so we are in our 4th year with well over 1,000 users and 200 agencies using InsuredMine. We're a SaaS technology company, so software as a service, meaning you can access our system from anywhere because you just need to open a website and log in to get started. So we're 100% dedicated to the insurance industry, meaning I may spread myself thin, but InsuredMine is not trying to be everything to everyone. So we're a web-based CRM automation platform built and continuously improved specifically for the insurance industry. Not some, hand-me-down enterprise offshoot that doesn't understand insurance and what agents really need to succeed. So InsuredMine focuses on your sales, engagement, analytics, and mobility. We're an add-on to any agency management system, so it means we're not trying to replace that big system you've come to rely on, but our purpose is simply to expand your capabilities to focus on sales, marketing, engagement, analytics, and being available 24/7 to your insured via a cool mobile app. Okay, this is just a small selection of clients and partners of varying size and from across various lines of insurance. So if you end up wanting to do business with us and you'd like to speak with a client of ours, I'm confident we can find someone you feel is similar to your agency. All right. So what is marketing automation? Well, to me, all marketing really boils down to the right message to the right person at the right time. And automation simply makes that easier and gives you the ability to scale without hiring a team to manage repetitive email, text messaging, or other types of engagement tasks. One core principle is that we have to tell people, of course, what we do, who we do it for, and why they should trust us. I mean, it's the core of marketing and sales, just the fundamentals. And of course, we could have the best, most innovative software and have the best coverage solutions for people. But if no one knows about it, or us, how can we help them? We'll fail to gain traction and our businesses, just won't grow. So the right message in front of the right person at the right time. I've been hearing this phrase thrown around a lot. And it is that marketing automation is like this set it and leave it. And I'm here to tell you that marketing automation is not the rotisserie chicken we all want it to be. So this set it and leave it mentality, basically, it is probably going to blow some preconceived notions. And I think I've even heard some people on my team talk about the set it and leave it thing. But this system of automation needs to be able to evolve, grow, and reach new target audiences. And that's the way to stay ahead of your competition, is by doing the work to evolve and grow and reach that person with that right message at the right time. And I know a lot of people may frown on automation. Maybe they've had bad experiences with it in the past. And my word of caution to you here is that's valid. But you just have to be kind of mindful of current events. We're looking at here on the right-hand side, this image is classic. I use it to kind of illustrate this point of, if you were to send something, let's say you send an automation that said, it's like a quote for Steve Jobs, but it just happened to be the day that Steve Jobs passed away. These types of things don't go hand in hand, and you have to be aware of what's going on in the world. Talking about hugging people during the height of a pandemic might not be the right message at the right time. So simple, yet often overlooked. Okay. So let's just keep going here just a little bit more, and then I'll want to hear from Stan on some of these things. But if you aren't tweaking your campaigns consistently, updating lists, segmenting people into buyer persona categories, and you're not testing your messaging, it's a lot like this car. Going down a hill in neutral. It's going to go automatically somewhere, but the destination may not be where you intend. So if you're not moving forward, you're moving backwards. So when I say we need to put these people into buyer persona categories and segmented lists, basically what that means is that in InsuredMine, for example, you can tag all of your contacts and group them into appropriate audiences. That way, you're sure your automations are going to the right audience, and just with a simple tag. Okay, so Roshan, Stan, you guys ever experience bad automation or witness somebody doing it?
I see it quite often. I get stuff that comes to me that I have no interest in because it's like getting something that should be geared to a female, and all of a sudden I'm getting it. That doesn't make sense.
Exactly. Okay. Yeah. So it's a real issue. Good automation really encapsulates your intention. It has heart. So basically, we have to work to make it sound like we're not robots. If my rule of thumb is, if I would send this email or text out to a customer individually, it's probably going to work for all the audience members that I've grouped in with that one customer. So if I write like I'm talking to someone that I know well, and I have other people that are in that same category, then I'm going to be able to speak to them as a group with a very similar message to everyone, substituting their name and any other data points that we want to kind of put in there that are pulled from a system of data points like your AMS or CRM. So yeah, when it's done well, no one's the wiser, and it doesn't feel like automation, and that's the point, because you want it to be like this is you putting your heart into it and hiring more and more people. We want it to be like you have a giant team, but without the giant team. So when you have a system to automatically attract, engage, convert, upsell, cross-sell, that's going to change the game. And this is where I'd love to hear some of your experience, Stan. Have you had some success with attracting, engaging, converting with your automation?
Yeah, I use a little bit different path as far as dealing with people that I don't currently know, and I use that to get people to by means of a lead magnet to opt in to engaging with me. And then once that happens, I'm able to put those people into InsuredMine and actually start campaigns. A case in point, I did using the other firm that I use. It's actually a CRM built around a marketing funnel. I don't use the CRM part of it, but I do use the marketing funnel. And we had a interest in seeing how it works. So I did a PNC thing, although I'm not really personally involved with the PNC. I've outsourced that. And I put out in a 50-mile radius of Boise, Idaho, I put out a lead magnet, and I got 4,718 responses with emails. And that was within a 50-mile radius. And so then I sent them a piece of, I put those names into InsuredMine and sent each of them a little video about the product I was talking about. It was bundling auto and home together with the same company. And that yielded 2,716 responses, of which 7 were unsubscribed. So basically we had 2,699 people that my PNC guy could actually market to. And
that's excellent.
That was because of InsuredMine. So,
wow. Well, that's pretty impressive. And I think being able to do things like that and then do it again, realize, what's working, and then scaling what's working is really the difference between night and day in your business. So that's impressive. So let's kind of define this. I'm going to take a step backwards now, or up, as it were, and look at this from a 50,000 foot view for a minute. So we'll take a glimpse into some details and more complex aspects, but I want everyone to be able to get something out of this, no matter where you're at, kind of in this marketing automation understanding or journey. The technology that facilitates marketing automation, where it used to be, so expensive and basically reserved for carriers or those with deep pockets, it's widely available now and reasonably priced too for solo or giant agencies. For example, InsuredMine's just $49 per month per user. But this is what you're seeing now on the screen is a definition by Marketo. So they say marketing automation is the technology that allows companies to streamline, automate, and measure marketing tasks and workflows so they can increase operational efficiency and grow revenue faster, which is exactly what Stan was talking about. So before we do dig in a little bit further, let's kind of start by briefly talking about this absolute fundamental here, because if you don't get this one right, marketing automation isn't going to work for you. So this is basically, I'm talking about your data and grouping your contacts into those segments that you can send out bulk messages to, because you don't just want to blast out the same messages to everyone all the time. And there are different terms for kind of what to do here to define your target audience. Basically, they call it buyer personas or target audience silhouettes or customer avatars. Essentially, it's just who it is, the what about them, the basic demographics and things like that, information about them. It's a little overview, and I'll show you an example of one, and how to set that up for your potential clients or current clients, customers rather. in order to provide this effective messaging. So we have to do a little bit of work up front, so we're making sure that our messaging is going to the right people. But let me show you a look at one of these. I'm just going to move here. And basically what you're asking yourself here is what's the perfect, life, health, commercial, etc. type of insurance customer look like for my agency? And then you want to set the background, maybe their pain points that you're going to talk to. And all of this is going to craft your messaging. So you're not just going to be speaking out of the blue, you're going to be speaking to them. That makes sense?
Absolutely.
Okay. Well, so if we do create buyer personas for each type of customer we have, what does your perfect insurance customer look like? What makes them the best one? It used to mean that basically you would go through your contact database and you'd note trends about how certain leads or customers find or consume your content or any other data points you have about them, like maybe their birthday, anniversary dates, policy types, expiration dates, that sort of thing. And you can trigger automations based on those data points. So you're definitely going to want to include some of those things in your buyer personas. Obviously not a birthday or anniversary date, but on their contact record, on the individual contact record, you're going to note those things, and you can set up automations that trigger based on those types of data points. If you'd like one of these buyer persona templates, I'm happy to send you one. You can just email Jonathan at InsuredMine.com, and I'm happy to share any templates I have with you. Okay, so this is the type of automation, just some examples that we can do: lead generation, segmentation, lead nurturing, relationship marketing, cross-selling, upselling, retention, and ROI measurement. So the how of that is like Stan was talking about with lead magnets, paid ads, email marketing, landing pages, CRM, and the like. So we're gonna actually, before we do that, let's move on and talk about this age-old battle between sales and marketing. So automation can actually handle a lot of the problem for you. So, what we're looking at is syncing the data. So I don't just pass something on to the next level without knowing that they've completed a certain step in the marketing funnel, right? So we need to have these data points that aggregate to their records, so you can see, what content have they engaged with you so far? Have they filled out any of your forms or surveys? And are they engaging with your emails or text messages? And if so, basically what you do is, let's say we get a lead in, so you can set up automations in a CRM like InsuredMine to change as they move through a sales pipeline, like the one you see in the graphic on the right here. And you can have unlimited pipelines in InsuredMine, by the way. So here, what we're looking at is an example of one of these pipelines. And when you're enrolling a new lead that's coming into an automation sequence and they convert, basically what you do is just click and drag them into the next stage of your pipeline. So voila, you're on to your next automation sequence to push them even further, a step closer to paying their premiums and earning you more revenue. There are obviously a ton of platforms out there that offer this marketing automation. If you're just getting started, or you're looking to investigate a new, more complete platform for insurance specifically, I've got to recommend InsuredMine's trial. So what Roshan and the team have done is nothing short of amazing, and I'm super excited to be a part of this journey now. Last year when I was doing a webinar like this, I was not part of the team, so I feel really lucky. And basically, if you're wondering what InsuredMine does from a super high level, it takes all of these different things and basically instead of using all of these different texting or emailing or document management, all that kind of stuff, you can use just one platform. So that's kind of the big overview of what we do. Okay, so this is one of my favorite sections, because this is the thing that gets you the foot in the door or takes someone to the next level where you want them to go. And it can be a lead magnet is essentially just how you get people into your marketing and sales funnels. And let's take a look, I guess, at when you could be utilizing these lead magnets. The main type of automations that we'll be focusing on are email and text automation sequences. And I'd like to hear, Stan, if you've used any of these things like forms or surveys, documents, videos, those types of lead magnets.
Yeah, I do. I have a whole source of different videos that I can access that relating to retirement planning or senior issues, P&C, whatever. And basically, what I've done is take one of those, like with the thing I talked about with the P&C. I put out a thing just asking people if they. For people to respond if they were interested in how to save an average of 16% by combining their auto and homeowners together. And that, I already told you the results of that. Then what happens is that once they have engaged with through InsuredMine, by responding to me, they've given me permission to send them further information. But I set up a series of emails. In that particular case, I set up a series of emails that started first with a little video called bundling, save while bundling, and it's like a 3-minute video, and then a follow up with the next videos like auto insurance, the next videos on homeowners, the next videos on umbrella. All of them have a short video on the value of working with a independent agent. So, and that's been getting really good results.
That's excellent. You know, it takes me back to my undergrad education, which was in learning and development and psychology, and humans we have basically 3 modalities of ways that we learn, right? So audio, visual, or kinesthetic, hands-on stuff. And what I'm kind of hearing is you have a video, and what I'm noticing in relation to that and what's on the screen with these lead magnets is that a cool trick that you can use is simply to repurpose your lead magnet, repurpose your content. So if you have a video, someone who might not learn that way, might not enjoy videos, might not have the patience, or whatever the reasoning behind that is, they might prefer written content or just the audio content, or maybe you turn it into some type of form, question and answer, which is more of a kinesthetic or engaging type of thing. So once you come up with a good lead magnet idea that yields you results, you don't want to scale and duplicate stuff or repurpose stuff that's not working. But once you come up with a good one, you can, kind of morph them into these different types. And once you have a stack of them, you can turn them into these things like libraries or, access to vaults of information that will help, insure prospects or people who are currently customers get more information that they need, and bring them, of course, closer and closer down your pipeline to where you want them to go next.
Right, and actually the other thing I'm using is BombBomb, which does give you the ability to send a personal video where I'm discussing what I'm talking about. Then it has also written content below it, so that a person can actually follow what I'm saying on the screen. So
that's excellent. And so the one-to-one video is becoming a super interesting way to engage with people. I notice in my LinkedIn inbox, I think is the place that I see it most, where someone will record a message just for me, use my name, and send it through LinkedIn. It's interesting, and I definitely watch them when they come through. So let's kind of jump down and look at this on a visual level. So in this case, because I had COVID, this is going to be a real do as I say, not as I do situation, because as you know, you did not get my classic pre-framing video and tell you the secrets that are about to be unfolded in this webinar and what you're going to get out of it, and encourage you to share, which is what we're looking at here. So this is basically a sequence that I generally use for webinars and webinar replays, which I'll dive into a little bit further on the next screen. And basically, this is missing one key part, and we'll talk about that in a second too. And that's, how do you get people to your lead magnet, and how do you get that lead magnet in front of them? So we'll talk a little bit about that, as well as I know Stan and I had a brief conversation about increasing traffic to your website and increasing eyeballs in front of your content. So let's kind of outline what this is and what it means and how you can do it. So basically, you'll see someone gets to your website and they register for a webinar, or regardless of how they got there, whether it's a Facebook ad, an email invite, an email campaign, a text message, etc. Let's say that they opt in, and two things are going to happen when they opt in. On your website, you could call this an automation. It's something that automatically happens. Once they fill out a form and press the button to register, it takes them to a thank you page. And on that thank you page, sometimes you can guide them to the next action as well that you'd like them to take. So I encourage you to think about, what's the purpose of this event or this lead magnet, this webinar in this case, and then what's the next step that I really want them to take. So you can sometimes convert them on that thank you page while giving them exactly what they expected and asked for, which is registering for the webinar, followed by email. So this video 1, video 2 is exactly what Stan was talking about with this one-to-one messaging. And what I would generally do is record a pre-frame, so kind of a little overview, a thank you for signing up, and send that in an email. So it's basically an image that links to a video file on my website, so I can see, you click it, you head to my website. Now I know who clicked and that you're on my website, because I use these things called UTMs, Universal Tracking Metrics. So basically what it does is you can just look up UTM Builder anywhere, and there are tons of free ones on the internet, and it will tell you exactly how to change your URL link that's underneath that image, and it will tell you how to say that came from social media, this came from email, this link came from thus and so. You get the idea. So basically now I have tracking, and I can watch that customer journey, and I can say, okay, well, are they falling off here? Did they click it and then nothing else happened and they didn't show up? Well, what do I need to change? And the same goes for everything in the sequence again. So you'll see these here and here become emails that are encouraging them to share the event, share the ebook if it were that, and then show up on the day of the event in this case. a webinar replay works in much similar fashion, but basically it's one that we've already recorded, and it lives in perpetuity as an evergreen asset, with potential of earning you money on your website. And you can send traffic to it by various means like Facebook ads over and over again, just by recording one time and then finding the target audience that cares about the topic that you want to educate people on. So I know my mom, for example, when she turned 65, she reached out for information. She went to, at the time, there weren't many webinars. It's been more than a decade ago now, but I remember she went to a hotel and, sat in a seminar that was put on by someone that talked about the options for the big thing that happens when you turn 65. Okay, so this just kind of tells you, you can reuse these things and set up these automations like this. So we talked about surveys. This is just another example, except this one is a little more interesting. Lead Quizzes is a good resource. It's a company who has basically a ton of different survey styles and modules, and you can embed them in almost any type of website you have, definitely a WordPress website. And what happens is, based on the user's answers in this survey, you're going to get a different kind of result for each person. Result A, result B, result C. And if you plan ahead of time, you're automating which page they land on afterwards. So, and then what's going to happen next. So let's say I take the survey, I get result A, I'm going to be led to result A, or one here, landing page, right? And from there, it's going to have that key call to action that you have, for your insured or for your prospects, to take the action that you want. So that is another example of how to bring in a lead magnet. Now, so this is just a traditional lead magnet example, and I've kind of been talking to that the whole time. So this is not much different information, just a different visual. So anything to add on any of this, Stan, or that I'm missing, anything glaring? Stan, I think you're muted.
Okay, no, because I have outsourced the employee benefits and PC side of my business to third parties, I needed a way to track the results of the campaign. And InsuredMine support team really helped me with that by creating proxy emails using Zapier, so that anytime that I do an email, and I think this could probably apply. You have a proxy email for somebody to respond to Social Security or to auto insurance or whatever. But in this case, this had to do with the PNC, and if it went to PNC, then it actually posted in back to my database, so that I have the ability to track it. But it also posts simultaneously to the affiliate's email, so that they were aware of it at the same time I was.
That's excellent. Excellent. All right. So I want to talk briefly about what we were talking about yesterday. Is how do we get more eyeballs in front of our content in order for these, in order to even have an audience to send automations to. And that is, there are a few paid services that you can use to generate email and phone numbers for email and text campaigns. Zoom Info, Seamless AI, Apollo. I've used all of these things, and they're very good at updating and maintaining data on individuals. It's generally derived from their whatever jobs these individuals have. So that's kind of the core of where those kind of contacts that you can buy into a service. These are not just buy a list. This is as ZoomInfo is pretty pricey. I think with a price point of at the low end maybe $20,000 a year. But Seamless AI is much less expensive at like $1,000 a year. Apollo, I'm not quite sure how much they are. But these are more software as a service type things where you can generate lists on an ongoing basis if you were to pay for a service like that. Any thoughts on paying for these things or buying books of business or the like?
At this point, it's not been an issue of buying anything because I'm really getting most of the results that I'm looking for, and I'm getting people responding to my email campaigns, and I suppose at some point in time. Well, let me back up for a second. My email campaigns, because I'm licensed in 8 states, are really focused in 8 states and on specific product lines, and I'm getting sufficient response from that I haven't had to resort to paid. Although I do have somebody that's doing a social media posting for me with insurance content, but I haven't really seen. I've had that for maybe 3 months. I haven't really seen a whole lot of response from that, and I think that the hands-on with the email campaigns is really going to be more productive for me than basically because my focus is on Medicare, and especially now as we're coming into the Medicare annual election period. That's going to be my focus for at least till the end of the year. But the whole point that I on the stuff the sequence that I sent you, the sequence of emails that I sent you, the templates that I send out to the clients, is that I'm not a big fan of sales contests, because I think to an extent that they kind of induce people to kind of bend the rules a little bit to try and get the results they want. I'm not a big fan of annual election periods, because basically you're trying to squeeze a whole year's worth of work into a 6-week period, and that's really counterproductive in terms of have the time to do it. So basically what I did is I start with the Medicare. I start 385 days prior to the person turning 65, and using automation to educate the person to how to age into the Medicare maze with as little effort as possible.
That's really interesting. So you start 385 days before.
Yeah.
And
so basically, at 385th day, they get a general email, an email that generally talks about what my agency does. I mean, it focuses on me and on my PNC guy and my employee benefits guy and my retirement guy in California, and it's just a basic informational piece, and asking them to respond if there's an interest on their part. Then on their 64th birthday, they get a birthday email from me, and this is all through InsuredMine, the whole thing from the 385 days forward. And they get a birthday email from me, and then 4 days later they get an email that says, "Hi, I know I'm a bit early, but with your permission, I would like to send you a piece of information each month, including a short video, which will give you valuable information on transitioning into the Medicare maze." And I'm getting good results from that. I mean, it's just people are opting in, and as I told you in our phone conversation, after watching the the initial webinar, the webinar that you and Rashan had, I realized that what I'm doing is didactic in that it's a one-way street. Even though I have a call to action there, it's not really engaging them to participate. And so that's where I'm looking for with the automation, how to get better engagement. Even though there are a lot of people responding, I think there's probably a lot of people that are not responding because I haven't given them the proper opportunity.
Right. So I generally look at my audiences in three different buckets rather. Awareness stage, consideration stage, decision stage. And I would imagine that you have one call to action for each of those different stages. Or, it's a little more gentle for the awareness stage. Let's just find out some more information. Let's, get to know each other. But for consideration and decision stage, which is basically what you've done by the third or fourth email that they see from you, is you've moved them down that line from awareness to consideration. And I think it's really kind of magical. But the kind of, I guess, getting back to the point here so we don't trail too far off, is you mentioned the social media piece and hadn't seen much come out of it. So it's actually one of my secret weapons for idea generation and for lead generation is Facebook ad library. So I'm gonna pop out real quick of the presentation and just show you what I mean by this. So let me go here. So basically, you can Google Facebook ads library, and it'll bring you to this screen, or this screen actually. Okay, and I'm gonna say.
You still there? Lost you.
Across their audience network or messenger, you can see kind of these different ways you could put a little bit of money behind your social media efforts. And then it's not just kind of this organic, we're just doing social media just to have something up there and not look like a dead account. Right. So it kind of changes that a little bit. So you can see, you could even get a little bit more granular here. Instead of insurance agency, you can put in your key terms for the types of insurance that you sell.
Right. The one thing that I'm using for my video content, I'm using a firm called WebPress out of Puerto Rico, and it's really interesting because he's set up 6 different campaigns. I mean, like one for young families, one for retirement age people looking for retirement. Some people that go to that are looking for Medicare, health insurance or group insurance or whatever. And these videos automatically, when a person opens the video, it automatically tells me, hey, Pete's watching this particular video. So, I get an instant response. And I'm thinking about how to incorporate that into my InsuredMine campaigns. So that.
Right. Okay. That's very interesting. Oh, there's my music. Sorry. So I think what we would think about there in that case is, okay, so we know Pete is watching a video. What would be Pete's next best piece of content? Is it, a video that you already have?
It's a video that I have, that I hired these people to do it every month. I pay $99 and they've got these whole videos, but it's a whole series of videos. Once they click on that, it gives them the opportunity to watch another one. And it's a 13-week process, which loops. In other words, at the end of 13 weeks, it keeps going to them until they tell me we don't want to see this anymore.
Okay. Well, that's interesting. Yeah. So I would recommend trying out some other types of lead magnets kind of in the mix there. Some documents and things like that as well. So you're hitting kind of that audio, visual, and kinesthetic type of learner too.
Well, I would think that, when I get the response that they're watching it, it'd be good for me to respond immediately, at least until give them time to watch the thing before I respond. Give them a response.
One of the things that I use is chatbots. So I will embed my videos or webinars on a web page, and then I use a chatbot called Intercom, but there are plenty of others, and we're actually looking at developing one. Is basically if someone has watched the video or been on that page for X number of seconds, then I have a set of a copy that runs from that chatbot that's geared directly for the people watching that video on that page. So you can set the chatbot to do a certain message sequence based on which video they're watching. So that way it is almost an immediate engagement attempt. And then you follow up with either text or email after that in an InsuredMine automation.
Right now, the response, if the person responds to the magnet, it's taking them directly to my website to a landing page specific to that where their interest is. It's like Medicare, then it takes them to the Medicare page, and there's resources in there and the whole thing. So
okay.
And access to video series, all sorts of things.
All right. Well, it's going to be fun to work with you a little further, and everyone else to kind of fine tune these things. And with that said, I'm looking forward to being a part of these bite-sized trainings that we offer to even people that are in the trial. So if you've paid your buck and you're in a trial and you're there for 14 days, you get the same access to onboarding training and these daily bite-sized trainings that anyone else, from solo to big enterprise agency or something has as well. So I'll be starting a weekly session there where I'm super excited to kind of dive into exactly what we're talking about here, Stan, which is how can we make this even better? And that's going back to that whole, this is not the rotisserie chicken, set it and leave it that everyone thinks it is.
Right. Well, I know I'm speaking to the choir, to anybody that's already in InsuredMine, but as I told you, Jonathan, I told Roshan a long time ago or maybe 6 months ago that technologically they're the finest I've ever seen. I mean, I came from SalesForce, and I've been through a whole iteration of these different databases. But the one thing that I felt was missing was marketing. How to use the technology to accomplish what we're going to accomplish. And I think with the addition of you, it's going to be it's going to make it a superlative decision for anybody.
I really appreciate that, and I'm super excited to make that a reality. So everyone that's on the webinar today is going to get some new sequences and automation templates that I'll be building out over the next couple of weeks. And I hope you find them useful. I noticed as I look through these different templates and different automations that people have set up that there are definitely some places where we can improve, and it just kind of getting to that is what's pushing me and exciting me. So anyway, I'm happy to talk about any of these things with anyone on an individual basis, how to get more traffic, how to set up your automations, and any other marketing topic whatsoever. So I just wanted to also put that out there. What we're looking at here is is an example of, okay, that's hands raised. It's an example of the different types of automations and sequences that you can do inside InsuredMine. Stan already talked about the birthday one, taking a very unique approach there, starting 385 days prior to a key birthday. And then holidays, anniversaries, and something extremely cool, which is just on the brink of being put into production, is for us is with the mobile app that we have, that your customers can use to have that kind of 24/7 relationship that insured are looking for these days, like a Lemonade or Hippo. We have that mobile app for them. Well, we also have the policy wallet. So if they were to take a picture of an engagement ring that's worth $20,000, and put it in there, we would know the next time to set up an automation to try to convert them into insuring that expensive thing. Maybe they take a picture of something else, a Picasso that they bought and put in their home. You get the idea. So, yeah, the possibilities here are really quite endless.
The one thing I would wonder if you can help us with. I referred Melissa Sandoz to you guys, and I know she was on earlier. I don't know if she's still on, but
yeah, I think Michelle's here. Yeah.
Yeah, she wanted a copy of the emails I sent to you, and unfortunately, I have not been able to get them to her because it always refers back to my website. And of course, we had a conversation yesterday, and she said, "Well, can you just give me the name and address of the credentials to get into your website?" And I realized after talking to my compliance guy that that would be a violation of personal history and personal history information, because I'd be exposing it to somebody who didn't have permission to have it. So I'm wondering, is there a way that you guys can put out a sample of that, and so that they can see what it's all about?
Yes, and I appreciate your generosity. So absolutely, I have a system that I use to anonymize data, so I can utilize that. We can pull it out together and anonymize the data and put that kind of template togetire and share it with people, especially Michelle Sandoz.
No, and all the templates were built in InsuredMine, so it's
easy breezy there. Okay. Well, so what you're looking at here, in lieu of having you sit through another demo, I'd much rather you have a personalized demo by going to our website and asking to have a demo, or start the trial. But this just kind of gives you an overview of what the inside looks like of InsuredMine. And while it may look like this is a lot, kind of coming over here to this section, let me two points here on the comment that this is a lot. One, it's going to be a lot no matter which system you go with, or how you slice it. It's just the nature of having 6 or 7 variables to work with. So we're looking at 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 9 different types of things you could do here with one workflow and trigger. But that's not to say that it's overwhelming or complicated when you just do it a step at a time, and especially since you have access to Kiara, who's our training manager, and she was a high school biology teacher, so her patience is endless, and she's happy to guide you through these things step by step. And that's all it takes, is just how do you eat an elephant one bite at a time.
Well, Jonathan, the other thing is that it's hard work one time, because it's evergreen. Right. Evergreen. Once you've got it done, you can use it over and over and over again.
Absolutely. That's exactly the point. And that's where the real ROI comes in. is that once you do it, it kind of is set it and leave it, except for the tweaking, which is, multiples of percentages less effort than you would be doing if you just did it the old-fashioned way.
The other part of it is that you guys are constantly improving the pipelines. So they keep adding stuff to the pipeline that really makes it easier to use. So.
Excellent. Yes. Well, thank you. We appreciate that. And I actually saw a question come through. Somebody said, he heard you had SalesForce experience and wonders why you prefer InsuredMine over SalesForce.
Basically, with the SalesForce platform that I was using, the problem was that, first of all, the follow-up that I got when I would try to get something changed or get something added, it generally took 3 or 4 days for them to get back to me with to find out what my issue was. And then I was getting, like for instance, using the date as a trigger. I wanted to be able to go out 385 days prior, and Salesforce, they said they didn't have the capability of doing that, which I don't understand how they didn't have the capability of doing it. I mean, to me, it's a given that once you have that data in there, that you can access it and use it. So
speaking of that, how have you found our service to be in regards to if we didn't have something that you wanted, or didn't know how to do something that you wanted to do? How have we been in that regard?
In most instances, I mean, probably 99.9% of the instances, they've been able to accommodate me in what I wanted. And I just had an example. We had a misunderstanding. I wanted to add to the list, the live list. I wanted to add the ability to have the birth date in the list, and they misunderstood me, and they put a thing to add the birth date to the list. But as soon as I realized what was going on, I got back to Pauline, and she immediately forwarded it on to support, and they're working on it. So it's really superlative support as far as I'm concerned. And Kiara is terrific, and her predecessor Amanda was just terrific. So
yes, Roshan has a knack for hiring, cherry picking really, really good and talented people. I'm glad to hear you say that. I'm glad it's been a good experience. I noticed Carneal has a hand raised, so I'm going to press allow to talk, Carneal. And if you still remember your question, I noticed the hand was raised for a while. We'd love to hear from you.
Hey, Carneal, unmute.
I'm going to press ask to unmute. Well, maybe I don't know if we've lost Carneal here or.
Can you hear me now?
Oh, yes. Hey.
Oh, great. Yeah, Stanley was right. I was on mute. I didn't know it. Okay. Thank you, guys. Again, a lot of good information. I'm looking, I guess me specifically, looking at all the lead magnets. I probably need some more information and education, if you will, on how to use them. And two, what I hope we'll get to is integrating those lead magnet results into some automations. And so I think you've presented a lot of good stuff. My question is, I just want to be able to use it.
Right. Okay. Yeah. So let's talk about that briefly. So when you get someone that wasn't on your contact list before, and you kind of snag them with one of these lead magnets, well, then they're in your pipeline, And as you move them to the next stage, what you do here is have, so they come in as a fresh lead, and then you're going to have automations set, and there are templates in the system in your deal board, actually. So automations are in not only in like email campaigns, text, and that sort of thing, but also here in the deal board, where if they move from lead to whatever your next stage is, and so on and so forth, you have these automations set up. And this is actually one place that I'm going to be building out a specific automation, 2 automations, one for this kind of zap or lead in, and then the next stage as well. So I have some lead boards built out. It's just the specific automations in the lead boards. And I'm not had an old manager that used to tell me there's no need to reinvent the wheel. So if there's stuff out there that's already working, can we have access to it, or I guess that may be what you're building out. Yeah, exactly. So I'm doing kind of like what I've done here with Stan, and just having a conversation, seeing what's working for people, and then we'll see if they're willing to share those templates, and if they are, then it's all fair game, and we're going to share them with the whole InsuredMine community. Okay,
and again, your expertise in learning how to use some of these lead magnets. I have email, but really interested in the surveys, and I've got some video stuff, but it's mainly a manual integration. Again, trying to get something to be automated, which is why we're here. That's what I want to do. Right.
Well, it's completely doable, and Cornel, I'm making note of your name, and we're going to get together. I'm gonna show you how to take these things on to the next stage of your pipeline.
That's CHAMBLISS.
Thank you, Stan.
Cornel Chambliss.
Appreciate that.
And, all right. So I think we've gone about 5 minutes over here. I do want to give anyone else that maybe had a question that didn't get an opportunity to talk the opportunity. Feel free to reach out to me. Again, I'm Jonathan at InsuredMine.com. But I'm going to send here today. Like I said, in a couple weeks, these templates that I'm building out. But we actually have a set of templates that's been updated July 20th. So inside of the knowledge base here, you can find these templates that will help you do some of the things we've been talking about. So these are already things that you can use right in InsuredMine if you haven't started looking at them or haven't implemented them yet. All right, and then last but not least, we have 2 main calls to action on our website, and one is request a demo if you haven't seen a personalized demo yet of how InsuredMine could work for you, and the other is to get started, and that takes you to a trial that actually costs $1, but I just inherited this website, so I need to change that. It's not free, it's $1. And anyway, would love to hear more from everyone and see at some of the trainings so we can move forward on this marketing automation stuff together as a community and get better as a community as well. Stan, any parting thoughts?
No, I just thanks a lot for your time. I really appreciate it, and I think that as I said before, addition of marketing to the fold is really gonna make some exponential growth for InsuredMine and exponential growth for each of us as people who are engaged with InsuredMine. I just think that I learned something. I go to the bite-sized training every morning that I don't have another opportunity or another something else I got to attend, and the bite-sized training has just been really invaluable for me.
Absolutely. Well, Stan, we thank you so much for lending your wealth of knowledge and your time, and I certainly appreciate you and all the kind things you've said about us, and I'm really looking forward to helping you and everyone else here on the call that already has InsuredMine and all that will have InsuredMine after watching this video.
I hope so.
All right. Well, thank you everyone for your time.